Congressman Darrell Issa is on our Newsmaker line, and we have him on for a different reason. But to get your reaction, Congressman, do you agree with my point on this, or you have a disagreement?
No, I absolutely do, Sean, that, Bill Clinton has a history with North Korea, which is that he did a deal that favored them. They never kept their promise, and he's back there now negotiating something that makes it look like they're a benevolent nation in which a trumped-up set of charges being pardoned or somehow a special act of a kind president rather than a crazy, sick dictator.
Yeah, I mean, this is the point. And what did America have to give up? You don't believe Bill Clinton got on that plane, went to North Korea, and didn't have a deal in place before he got there, do you?
No question at all that no president ever takes a meeting, agrees to something where it's not orchestrated. That's part of the. In fact, an ambassador has to make sure that a request that comes for a meeting with the president will be answered with a yes, and the president makes sure that before that request comes, he can give a yes. That's just the kabuki dance that goes with politics at that level. President Clinton knows it, and President Clinton made a decision to go to a man who had already lied to him and cheated him in his administration. There had to be a good reason, and I think you articulated it's a political reason. They're down in the polls. They're making the mishandling of Hurricane Katrina look like a small act when you look at what's happening to our economy and what I'm on today, the fact that Rahm Emmanuel is orchestrating threats to anyone who stands up and says just maybe the stimulus isn't working.
Well, you know what my nickname for him is, Rambo Deadfish Emmanuel. You know why I call him Deadfish, don't you?
Sure, we understand that's what you're going to deliver to of course, the horse head is also good, but I'm not sure you could use it with Rahm.
No, he actually sent the dead fish to somebody. You didn't hear that story?
Yeah, he made that point. And look, Rahm still comes to the house, Jim. He still uses four-letter words on his friends and enemies alike. He's a tough guy. The problem is he's practicing Chicago politics from within the White House. The American people expected this administration to leave that part of their history behind and start acting presidential, and they're not doing it. If you cross them, they find ways, including the use of 4 cabinet officers, to basically do propaganding and threats to people who stood up and said the stimulus isn't working.
Well, following these reports that Rambo Deadfish had been orchestrating an effort to intimidate members of Congress and governors like yourself, congressmen like yourself and governors who raised legitimate concerns regarding the lack of effectiveness of the stimulus, you have sent a letter to Emmanuel saying with this type of scare tactic, it may work in Chicago. It's not going to intimidate me or other members of the U.S. Congress. What specifically were you referring to?
Well, what I'm referring to is they're using 4 cabinet officers to send letters to governors and so on, and of course publicly, in order to use the office in a very much a propaganda way. And we understand there's a line where the president can fly out and he can celebrate the opening of a new bridge that was built with stimulus money. There are some parts of propaganda that are allowed. Very clearly, this crosses the line, and you start crossing this line. If we don't stop Rahm Emmanuel, the next thing he'll be doing is having the IRS do audits on people who are politically opposed to him. It's very clear you have to stop this kind of abuse as early as you can. I felt this was the right time to do it, and I know Rahm used a few pejoratives when he got the letter on me.
And what did he say?
Well, you know what? I do not want to repeat that on radio. We'd both lose our licenses.
Well, why don't you say it in ways that people can understand?
Look, the F-bomb is exactly what Rahm uses. Every time I see him, his middle finger is his only salute. He is very angry that he is not allowed to just do anything he wants to do in the White House. He's a smart guy. He's a tough guy. But now that he represents the president, he's got to use the power of the president appropriately.
But don't you think that they purposely chose him? Because of, for example, if he uses all these epithets, we had the story of tax cheat Geithner in a profanity-laced tantrum that he had, according to the Wall Street Journal, with bank regulators. How reassuring is that we have such a stable hand on these high positions of power?
Well, this is not particularly, this is not adult management. It is one of the problems. Rahm has allowed the president to appear to be more presidential because, quite frankly, the tough guy, the guy sending the fish out, is Rahm Emmanuel, and he's the tough guy in the White House. You remember Eisenhower used Nixon. Well, It was a long time ago, and Joe Biden, I guess, is no Richard Nixon. Rahm is, in fact, doing things which, in my position on government oversight, I'm responsible to call foul if, in fact, there's waste, fraud, or abuse. I've got to tell you, I don't have enough paper for all the foul I've got to call on waste by this government, incredible growth of spending beyond any sensible way, and no controls, no ability to actually have oversight. And without a doubt, these kinds of abuse of power, like Rahm using cabinet officers to assert threats, to go around and use the power of the presidency in this way, is wrong, and I'm calling him on it.
Well, what do you make of Robert Gibbs out there saying that the people showing up at these town halls, this is all manufactured?
Well, I happen to be...
let me play it for you. You said it earlier today.
Is it your contention, is it the White House contention, that the anger that some members of Congress are experiencing at town hall meetings, especially over health care reform, is manufactured? Is that?
I think some of it is, yes. In fact, I think you've had groups today, Conservatives for Patients' Rights, that have bragged about organizing and manufacturing that anger.
What do you think of that?
You know what's amazing is he has no idea just how disorganized and decentralized the conservative movement is. The fact is that this is a very independent movement. Republicans have gone in thinking they were going to take advantage of Tea Parties, only to find out that they were mad at them too. This is not a group you control. This is really grassroots. The American people made a mistake. Elections have consequences, and now there's a growing amount who, whether they voted for Obama or not, want to change, and they want a very quick change in the behavior, and they're doing it by public activism. It's not centrally controlled, but in this day of Twitter and Facebook, yes, you can coordinate what you want to do, but it's not like it used to be. You don't need a union boss to do it. These fairly conservative individuals are spontaneously deciding that they want to do things and surprising elected officials, including myself. And I'd say anyone that thinks that this is organized is missing the whole point. This is deep and wide and grassroots.
All right. Thanks, Congressman Darrell Issa. Keep taking on the Chicago way. We appreciate it.
Will do, sir.